Hey folks, alright, Open Pagan Church, welcome back. Well, I apologize that the countdown clock was a little behind. My OBS software locked up when I tried to go live, and well, I had to restart the software. So there you go. Right, let's bring in Discord if anybody's still alive. Hello, Discord.
Hello.
Well, it looks like we got Clint and Cindy and Lester and, well, of course, me. But I guess I'm supposed to be here, huh?
Yep, you're supposed to be here. Oh, you got Paul, too.
I see that, yeah. My imagination. My imagination gets me in trouble sometimes.
Don't we all?
Oh, well, most of the time. Well, speaking of Paul, we can thank Mr. Paul for today's topic. Now I'm gonna read what I wrote, and then if Paul don't mind, I'd like to hear from him on his idea of this topic so we can kind of set it on the straight and narrow here. That way we don't go down a rabbit hole and piss a bunch of folk off. Not that we would ever do that. So, says, let us think about this topic from a human standpoint, right? In your mind, in your way of thinking, why should the gods and goddesses care? And in case you haven't read the header, the topic for today is why should the gods and goddesses care? Well, we're talking about all aspects of humanity. We're talking about globally, socially, and personally. We're also going to be talking about, humans have jacked up Mother Earth, man. I mean, humans have just absolutely mistreated Mother Earth, and we see it all the time on a daily basis. We've abused, mistreated her gifts. Hell, I can't even read my own typing. We've mistreated her gifts to us. So,
And stripped her of it.
yeah, why should the gods and goddesses care? Um, Paul, you want to lead off with anything, sir?
Well, back in history, it's known that the gods were the driving force of most everything. If anything went wrong, if you wanted anything to work, you took it to the gods. As time progressed and we air quote civilized, we turned away from our gods. Other things became gods. Money, uh, just whatever you could imagine became gods instead of the actual gods that were, you know, previously worshipped. Now, were I a god and I'd see that, a god's main desire is to be loved by its creation, much like a parent with a child. Uh, I guess you could say they care because, like a parent, you're going to love your child no matter what. But as time progressed, we've gotten brattier. Why should they continue to care? We haven't turned to them. If anything, we're falling further and further away from them. Did that make any sense at all?
It absolutely makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Um, you know, other religions have come down on pagans for praying to idols. No. Every religion has a set of symbologies or symbols that they use for a point of focus. It's just like an altar, right? We use altars for a point of focus, a place to set our purdies and light our candles. But every religion on the planet, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, pagan, all religions on the face of this planet have idols that they pray to. I mean, take a look at the great big cathedrals. You know, you've got the big altar up there and the big crucifix, and you know, people are looking at that when they're concentrating on praying. Now, most pagans and more Christians send their prayers as they're going throughout the day, right? I talk to mine on occasion when the mood hits. I say thank you when the good things happen, and I say what can I do to make it better when the bad things happen. Now, I think that statement makes a point that many might miss. I said thank you when the good things happen, and I ask what I can do to make it better when the bad things happen. I don't blame it on the gods. I figure if I've done something to piss them off, I'm going to get a bit of karma. But when you think about the actual topic of it all and the overall situation of the way most, not all, but most human beings around the globe treat the most important goddess that we have, whether you call her goddess, whether you call her Mother Nature, whether you call her nature, whether you call her whatever the hell you want to call her. Mother Earth is our biggest mother. Don't get me wrong, sometimes she can be a bit of a mother. You know. But Mother Earth is going to do what Mother Earth is going to do, and humans may as well stop trying to figure out ways to stop it or control it. I mean, let's think about a few things here. Humans have figured out ways to create earthquakes. Scientifically proven, fracking can create earthquakes. It's done through hydrolysis, and I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole because that'll set me off on a tangent that'll last a couple of hours. But anyway, humans have figured out ways to screw up the weather. They can't fix it, but they damn sure figured out ways to screw it up.
Oh, we can't fix it. We're just too fucking greedy too greedy to do it.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. And, you know, whether you believe in global warming or not, I give 2 cents. But if you look at the facts of the game and you look at the weather patterns over the last, let's say, 50 years, right? If you look at weather patterns over the last 50 years, it doesn't take a genius to see that the weather patterns are getting worse. And, you know, Deb says, so does the explosions of nuclear devices. Yes.
Well, driving your car every day.
Right. You know, doing the things that we love to do as humans. I'm sitting in my office. It's a nice crisp 68 degrees in here.
Penguin.
I have 9 servers running on the other side of the sound screen. Otherwise, I promise you, the noise in this office would be horrendous. And, you know, I've got a 25,000 BTU air conditioner in here that keeps it nice. But see, you know, I'm a part of the problem, just like everyone else is. But if you think about the loaded question, and I'd like to hear from others as well, you know, you guys in Discord, and you guys watching on the live feed, thinking about the human aspect of how we feel about our gods and goddesses. In plain language, why should they give a shit? We don't. Anybody want to jump on that one?
It's because we can't think from that aspect. Think about that one.
Right?
You know, we may be parents, but to be a God is so much more than trying to be a parent.
Right?
In your spiritual belief, supposedly, gods can do no wrong. You know, they are the be all end all of existence. But if you look through history and if you uh, equate everything that happens to the wills and whims of the gods, namely one specific type of genre, then yeah, they do things wrong sometimes, at least from our aspect of thinking.
Right?
And just like any parent, of course, being omnipotent, they should know better because they know everything, which is an oxymoron.
Right?
Uh, they should care because they want us to continue to flourish, prosper, and in that continue to love them, which creates more power for them.
Right? Now, Debbie put some really good points in the live feed. She says, I don't think they do. She says, I think we landed here, and that's that. Their job done. I can see the logic behind that.
Well, there is that aspect of thinking where we're nothing but a petri dish
Right,
under a microscope.
right. A great big science experiment.
Hmm.
But she also goes on to say, so we just have to get on with it as best we can. She says, I do think there is a plan, but I think it is so complex there is no way a human can ever see it all. That's a good point.
Well, and to be, as you like to be, the devil's advocate, we can go the opposite direction and say there is so much not a plan that we can't comprehend that either.
Right, right. Well, she goes on to say, as far as messing up the planet, she said, we got ourselves into this mess. We have to get out of it before we kill ourselves off as a species, as well as all others who share our ecosystem.
Right. Yeah, or Mother Nature's going to have that.
Well,
Because of earthquakes and tsunamis.
We're nothing but fleas on this dog.
oh yeah, we're shit. We're specks on the sand of a great big beach, bruh. I've always said that.
No. Take in the comprehension of flees on a dog.
Yeah.
Okay, we bite the dog.
Oh.
The dog gets mad. It scratches. That's what Mother Earth is doing with all the hurricanes and fires and earthquakes and tsunamis. It's trying to scratch that itch that we are creating.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, if we need to be careful because Hollywood could come true, and we could see a large creature arrive from the ocean.
Right. 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 Okay.
I'm
Um.
sure you get the reference.
I do. I do. Absolutely. Um. Growing up, I was a great big Godzilla fan. Go figure,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I mean, go listen to Blue Oyster Cult. They explain it thoroughly.
You know, I'm actually amazed Lester hasn't piped up. I wonder if he's even paying any attention.
Oh yeah, I'm paying
Oh,
attention.
oh yeah.
Come on, pipe
now,
up.
now, I, we're looking at this from a faith standpoint.
Okay.
Now, there is another aspect of thought to this that, as Don would say, would lead us down a rabbit hole, but you have to at least touch on it, and that is the other end of the spectrum of we want to believe there are gods so badly because we don't want to be alone spiritually.
Okay.
But history, there are accumulating facts to show that we were not divinely created.
Okay.
Now, we came into existence through science, earth science,
Okay.
Darwinism. But we did not attain our level of intelligence and existence and civilization divinely, meaning through time, various minds didn't create the intelligence or the knowledge that we currently have and use. It was provided by us by beings that were incorrectly interpreted.
Okay. All right. I can see your point.
In other words, the visitors who came to our ancestors and gave them the knowledge, the ancestors saw where they came from and said, look, it's the gods. Okay? Not
Watching too much
realizing
Ancient Aliens.
Do what, Lester?
my
I
point
said we've been
exactly.
watching too much Ancient Aliens.
My point exactly. Okay? Now, wait a minute. I'm going to make the point as to why this is relevant. We run around on our little planet going, why have the gods abandoned us? When
They just went home.
well, they haven't really abandoned us, but there's nothing divinely they could do other than come down and remove the shroud of the fact that they exist and completely implode human society. For one.
You go to school. You go to school to learn. If you don't learn and you leave school, it's not the teacher's fault.
Right.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, think about this, Lester. If extraterrestrials were to actually land and society were to see that they actually existed, what is that going to do to those of faith? It's going to completely implode the 90% of the faith structure of the world.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me drop in here real quick, okay? Before we go the wrong direction with the
That's
topic.
what I'm saying. I'm not trying to lead us down a rabbit hole. I'm just saying, why should they care? They probably do care. They just can't do anything about it.
Well, it's all down to free will, right? But
Well, there's that. But I'm talking about the other end. They can't do anything about it without causing more issues.
well, there is that. But I want to make a kind of an asinine joke real quick, and then I want to get Lester's input, and I want to read what Debbie's had to say.
Wait, the asinine jokes are my job. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're not by yourself in that one. So, what is the definition of extraterrestrial?
Someone not of this planet.
Doesn't that mean the gods and goddesses, or God, or Yahweh, or whatever?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Wouldn't that mean that they're extraterrestrials?
Well, yes, it would if we were able to. Now, go with me and don't fuck up. Wait a minute. Yes, if we were to be able to prove their existence. Okay? Now, faith and belief puts them in existence. That is true.
Right.
I get that.
Right.
But there are, because of how we have developed as a society and a civilization, that is not enough for proof.
Right. Right.
To prove something's existence, it has to have a corporal body. It has to be a corporal entity.
Okay.
Well, we can't bring any one of the gods down by hand and say, see, I told you, here he is.
All right.
So, yes, that's the point I was making earlier about our ancestors, okay? They were corporal beings from somewhere else. They were not of this earth. They came down here in their spaceships, and the little Aztecians were like, oh my God, it's the gods, because they couldn't comprehend a spaceship. To them, it was how the gods got around, and the aliens or extraterrestrials didn't say, wait a minute, whoa, look, we're not gods. They went with it. They said, yes, we're gods, and the little humans, being sheep that they are, went with it and ran with it, and now we have umpteen number religious factions in the world.
Paul,
Yes.
next week's topic is going to be
Do aliens exist?
no. Damn it.
Okay.
I don't want to be no, we're a pagan channel, but
that was a joke. That was one of my asinine jokes.
I hear you. But next week's topic is going to be, are the gods and goddesses ET?
Well,
Now don't you can think about it until next week. But we're going to go down that rabbit hole, and next week we're going to go down that rabbit hole. But let's climb back up out of the rabbit hole. Lester, my old buddy. Why should the gods give a damn?
Well, I've once heard it said that God is a deadbeat dad. Uh,
Exactly.
it's not that he doesn't love you; he just doesn't give a shit anymore. He tried to teach you the right way to do things, but you decided to do it on your own. So, no, good luck with that.
Okay.
No,
Well,
seriously.
exactly.
But
Humanity has
They,
evolved from the unthinkable monkey that used to climb the trees looking for nothing but food. That was his existence all day. Then the gods gave humanity fire. Okay. Now we say that because that was the history of things in the metaphysical world. The gods gave us fire.
right.
What literally happened was, Mother Earth threw out a thunderstorm, a lightning strike hit a bush, and wham, fire. The caveman walked up to us and said, "Hey, what's this?"
And there you have the
ow!
burning bush.
And he
Yes.
said, ow!
So, man decided we're going to try to salvage fire. We're going to keep it, we're going to harness it, we're going to use it for ourselves. We came up with ingenious ways of keeping one fire going for almost an eternity by taking a coal and wrapping it up in moss and, carrying it from one campsite to the next and then putting dry tinder on it and blowing on it and creating fire again.
Right.
As we evolved, and I'm not a big Darwin fanatic, but I can see the logic in it. We started to say, hey, there's got to be something bigger than us that's watching, that's guiding us.
Right.
Now, if you wanted to go down that rabbit hole, you look at some of the pictorials of gods from the past.
Yep.
How many blue humans do we have running around town?
That's part of the reason for next week's topic, and we are absolutely going to dive head first down that rabbit hole. In fact, that broadcast might be more than an hour.
Oh yeah, I would assume. But as we progress in our evolution, we also progress in our intelligence because
Break it up.
we learn new things. And as we learn new things, it becomes more intelligent. There are certain animals that exist today, even our little cousins, as it were, that will use tools. Are they on an evolutionary chain to be the next humans? We don't know. We won't be around. We'll end up killing ourselves off before they even evolve.
Right.
As far as whether or not the gods care, I don't see where they will, because we're that bratty little child that just won't listen. And as many times as they've tried to tell us, hey, you're doing it wrong. Hey, look what you're doing. Hey, learn from your mistakes. Hey, we're not getting it. We are going to end up destroying ourselves if we don't destroy Mother Earth in the process.
Right.
The point that you made a while ago is that if those same gods that you were speaking of came back down in their ship, would it destroy religion? No, it wouldn't destroy religion. It would change some religions, but there will always be religions that will believe in a God that is higher than them. Now, whether he's blue or green or gray or black, it doesn't matter. You have to have that faith that you can't find all the answers to life. Until you do, well, then you become a god.
Yeah, well, see,
And
I
if
don't
you
want no part
do,
of that.
I don't want to know you.
I don't want no part of that.
Right. If you do, I don't want to know you.
Right. Well, okay. So I want to catch up on, Debbie has made some absolutely wonderful points. And, she says earthquakes were around long before humans walked out of Africa. And you want to drive the white supremacists crazy? Show them the DNA proof that all white folks are actually black, so get over yourself.
Right.
She goes, boy, yeah, that's another rabbit hole I don't want to go down. She also goes on to say, she says, I think our downfall is more likely come from a virus which arises in nature because we don't cherish our fellow animals and we use and abuse them. I can see that.
Well, we create them.
I mean, humans use and abuse each other as well as animals, as well as the planet. How many times have we joked? You're guilty till proven innocent, unless you can buy your innocence.
That's not a joke. That's a fact.
True, but she goes on to say, through greed and seeking control, we've developed the societies we live in. That wasn't divine, and boy, do I agree with that. It's like we said at the beginning of the broadcast. We made this shithole that we put ourselves in for any number of reasons. Greed, control. My daddy can whoop your daddy, my God can whoop your God, just whatever you want to come up with. How many times when we were in grade school that kids would start this, well, my mama can whoop your mama. Well, buddy, you ain't never met my mama. She wasn't called Bulldog in the bars for nothing. Anyway, she says if you go back far enough, we're all extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
One line of science thinks life arrived as an amino? Oh, amino acids. Got it.
Right.
We flew in. We flew in on asteroids. Hell, I like that. I like flying. Asteroids and comets, which crashed into the primordial soup. Boy, that was a hell of a hot soup back then in Earth's early days, I'll tell you.
Nothing but a mushroom.
Right. And I kind of like what she says here. She says I read something once that said all leaps of intuition and tools was down to only 10% of humanity. So I'm going to put my 2 cents in on the topic. Not that I can ever have a topic and not put my 2 cents in. And for me personally, call me a dreamer, call me whatever you like. But I personally, I need to remember how to talk. I personally believe that the gods and goddesses do give a shit. I mean, over through my lifetime, this lifetime, I can remember predicaments, I can remember positions that I put myself in, that something, somewhere, helped me get out of it. And it's like it's like where I'm at right now, okay? Just about the time it's all going to hell in a handbasket, something, somewhere, from someone comes up with a buck or two to give us a hand, or words of encouragement, or, something of that nature. So, in my personal idea, I believe the gods and goddesses do give a shit. I just believe humans are too stuck up their own butts to listen. And that'll be a Sabs that has joined us.
Yeah, you missed fun.
You know, my thought on the whole situation is this. If we shut up and we listen and we put together what we're feeling and hearing in something other than a self-centered, self-absorbed, selfish philosophy, I think humans could actually do better things. Again, this is, call me a dreamer, call me whatever you like. Um, and Debbie says, I can ask for help. And something usually turns up. But I also have to take responsibility for what I do. And that's the whole point. She says, I think they do care. I just don't know why. Well, it's like Paul said earlier. If the gods are like our parents, right? And I know my parents, bless their heart, they loved me through all of my stupid shit I pulled when I was younger. And they helped where they could. They did the best they knew how to do. But even today, with all of the stupid stuff I've pulled throughout my life, they still love me and want to help.
They're forgiving. Do the gods care? Like you said, the gods care. It just, they care in different ways for everybody. Like a good way of putting it.
Well, yeah, I mean, how many times did our parents, siblings, if we have any, best friends, try to tell us something that they could see from the outside was going to get us in hot water?
Yeah.
Right? How many times have we actually listened?
Or you would call you. You have a connection with the gods stronger than I've ever seen some people. Other people. And like you would call us and say, "Hey, they're telling you to not do this." So we listen. Gotta listen or face what happens.
Well, and here comes a good point that, I've always kind of firmly believed myself. Debbie says, she says, my comment was from a place of basement, bargain, shelf belief. I have to say, I've never heard it put that way, but that's kind of cool.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
Basement, bargain, shelf belief is core. It's it's
to
the core of the being and what you believe in your core.
Oh, okay.
But then she says, I don't think I actually deserve any help. And that I completely actually agree with. Deserve, perhaps not. Appreciate, most definitely. Um, she says, I don't have any self belief. And, that runs into a big problem with a lot of people that don't have enough self faith to persevere through the next step that needs to be persevered through. But to me, in my mind, that doesn't mean the gods and goddesses don't care. Sabs,
Hi.
have there. All right. I know you're coming in late. The
Yeah, I'm
topic
sorry.
is,
I just woke up.
oh no, hey, you're fine. The topic is, why should the gods care? What do you think? Uh oh. She's got
I
smoke coming
don't.
out of her ears.
Shut up. um. Well,
Wait a minute. Has she had her coffee?
no, actually, I haven't. I
Oh,
packed my coffee pot up yesterday.
uh,
Um, I'm in the midst of relocating
yeah, we heard.
on a permanent basis. Um, why should the gods and goddesses care? I mean, why should anybody care? I mean, we've all been through stuff that we thought was gonna kill us, and we come out stronger for it. Um,
Well, of course, we all know what doesn't kill us makes us stronger,
exactly.
or so they say.
Well, I mean, I've gotten to the point of, why should I care about certain things?
Well,
It's
and that's just human nature, I think, though, isn't it?
well, I mean,
Well, that's not really what the subject is today, is there?
Well, actually,
yeah,
think about it, Cindy. It's a part of it.
yeah. I mean,
It's like Debbie was saying. I don't think I actually deserve any help,
I
and
know I don't. I sure enough know I don't, because the crap that I've done in my life, I don't see why anybody cares about anything else. But I mean, you should at least care about yourself. But I've gotten to the point where I don't even care about self anymore.
Okay, now that point right there, I will accept. If you don't care about yourself, then why should the gods care about you?
Exactly.
see, therein lies the. And I apologize if my Dr. Pepper is hissing into
Eh,
the mic.
you're fine.
I am trying to get the quivering of my hands together so I can pour my damn Dr. Pepper. Right, got it. Didn't spill any. Okay. We did. Oh my God, how many years ago has that been? We did a video some years ago on, if you don't have faith in yourself, how the hell can you have faith in the gods?
Yep, I remember
It's
that.
just, it's just like, if you can't let you can't live yourself, how you gonna love somebody else?
Well, yeah, but there's, in my mind, I have to see, how can I put this? I have to accept me for what I am and who I am, realizing that I'm the only one that can change me if I want to change.
The only person that should, you know, everybody should care that you want to change, but when you do change and people aren't paying attention to the fact that you're changing, they kind of just start doing stuff that they shouldn't really be doing.
Well, and see, there's one on top of that. And the one thing I've always taught all of my students and people who have come to me for spiritual advice, I could care less if you notice my changes. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm not living for you.
Exactly.
I'm not living for anyone but me. Now, that sounded awful arrogant. But when you think about it, you first have to admit that, okay, I have to take care of me for me, right? Because if I don't, I'm not going to be around to help take care of anybody else.
The first step of solving your problem is admitting you have a problem in the first place.
Right. And I want to know who on planet Earth these days don't have any problems.
Babies.
Babies have problems.
Some of them do.
Babies have problems. Babies want to eat, shit, and sleep.
That's all
Babies,
they want to do.
you're right, but babies
I
have
mean,
problems.
dude. If all I had to do was eat, go to the bathroom, and sleep, my life would be perfect. But no, I gotta pack up my stuff. I gotta move clear across the country because I I just can't survive here anymore.
But
Out where I'm moving to, yeah, I have a life out there. I can have a life out there.
but it still comes down to my thought is that the gods and goddesses give a shit about us whether or not we give a shit about ourselves.
Exactly.
Now, we have to listen. And you know, Debbie says, I have great faith in others and the gods, but nothing in myself. And I can honestly say, most especially over the last 2 to 3 years, I can absolutely understand that statement. But here's the thing that I have found. I don't think it's a matter, and I know we need to kind of start winding down a little bit, but I don't think that it's a matter of why the gods and goddesses should care. I think it's accepting the idea, and in my mind, the fact that they do. They do give a shit. They do care. The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is we don't. We don't care. We say we do. We give good lip service. And we'll tell anybody anything to convince them. But when it comes down to, here we go again,
Here we go again.
the person that is staring back at you in the mirror. If the person that stares back at you in the mirror doesn't care, What difference does it make if the gods are goddesses or brothers or sisters or friends or family? What difference does it make if they do care? Because you're not going to listen. You're not going to accept at face value that they do care. I think that I would really look forward to seeing further comments on this topic from you guys that watch our pre recorded broadcast. And I will say, give us 24 hours to reply because, well, some of us are doing other things, of course. But I think for me, the gods and goddesses don't have to care. It's not a matter of whether or not they should, it's accepting the idea that they do. But like it was said by someone earlier, what difference does it make if they do or don't? Humans aren't going to listen anyway. Well, this is true. But let's close on this point. If we spent more time accepting, acknowledging, and appreciating ourself, not in an arrogant, self-absorbed manner, but appreciating self. Understanding that if you don't like yourself, how the hell do you think you're going to listen to the gods and goddesses when they're trying to help you? It's not a matter of should. It's a matter of accepting the possibility that they do care. Something to think about anyway. Again, huh?
One other note before we go. I know you put to close.
No, yeah, come on.
I'd like to download the webpage on YouTube. We have a site there that says want to help keep the lights on for the church and our Don Maxwell, helping it keep the computers going and everything. There's a donation there, openpaganchurch.com. If you'd like to donate, even $5, $10, or whatever you can, I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, Cindy. Definitely appreciate that. So I very seldom ever give it away what next week's topic's going to be. But yeah, thank you, Paul. Next week, we're going to go down the rabbit hole of are the gods E.T.
Are the gods what?
Extraterrestrial.
Oh, okay.
So, that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I absolutely appreciate you putting in your 2 cents. I appreciate you being here, and we will see you next week on Open Pagan Church. Enjoy your day. Huh? You here? All right.